Welcome to You Know Something with Dena
Hey, look, I'm just here to entertain, inform, and keep this crazy train on track.
and Tia.
Me, unlike your live wire that is liable to go shoo-boom.
They're like your cool aunts.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
Fun,
I can't believe you even brought that up. That is so fun.
informative,
It's impossible to dust potpourris.
You can't.
sometimes serious.
Dena, sweet child. I am almost stunned. I mean, I'm being really serious.
But most of the time, not so much.
A caca. I mean, you're caca and you're caca. No. I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Ladies, let's go.
Hello, welcome to You Know Something with Dena and Tia. I'm Dena.
And I'm Tia, and today is July 10th, 2024.
Yes, and today, Tia,
Oh boy.
we're going to be talking about a subject that was actually your idea. We were having a conversation about something else. I can't remember. And you said, I wonder why this. And I said, oh, that would be a good topic for a show. Do you remember what it was?
Are you talking about when I said I wonder why some people find some people attractive and why others don't?
Yes.
I mean, because people that, like, oh wow, I can't believe this. Because we were looking at some pictures and you said, ooh, he's attractive. And I said, you really think?
I couldn't remember what the conversation was that
I do.
brought it up. Okay.
It was the guy on Instagram, and you said you did a whole lot of his
Oh, yeah.
memes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I said, boy, you must have really been attracted to him. And then you showed me a picture, and I went,
Not impressed. You weren't impressed. Very
Oh.
interesting. Okay. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about attraction, what makes us attracted to people, because it's kind of scientific in a way. And it can be, well, let's just start.
okay, good, because I'm really interested in
Oh,
this.
cool. I'm interested to see what you think. All right. So, what makes us attracted to someone, Tia? Is it biological, psychological, social, like our surrounding and experiences? The answer is yes, all of those things. So, we're going to kind of break them down, what that means. We'll also talk about forbidden attraction,
Ooh.
like why you might suddenly become attracted to someone that you should not be attracted to. It's inappropriate.
Oh.
And what do you do about it?
Oh, man.
And I'm going to ask you if you've ever
This
done
is
that.
sounding more like a soap opera.
Da-dum. And finally, Tia, we are going to compare pictures of celebrities. In our mind, we're going to say which one we think's better looking, and then we're going to say it out loud and see how much we agree on what's
Okay.
attractive. And I don't know if we will. It's going to be interesting to find out what we think.
I know. I can't wait.
Okay, let's get started.
Okay.
All right. Our sources today are choosingtherapy.com, socialsci.libretext, psychologytoday.com, and gaiam.com. And I'll include links in case you didn't understand any of those I just said, since I didn't read them very well. They're hard words to get.
I know. You pick hard words.
I do. All right. So look down in our show notes for those, and you can read more about what we might like skim over certain areas in the interest of time, but you can really delve into it by clicking those links. And we want to give all those people credit for doing all the research for us. They just don't know they did it for us.
You don't. Shh. Let's not tell them.
Yeah, exactly. Allowing me to Google all their work. All right, well, let's start with biological. Biological factors are the kind of the first thing that comes to mind when you think about who you're attracted to. That's the first impression. That's the outside, the looks. how you respond inside to those looks. And it says most people can tell if they're attracted to someone in the first 90 seconds after they meet. What do you think about that?
Oh, wow. Ooh, I mean, just based purely on physical.
Yeah, just that reaction, that physical.
Yes, I do think that could happen in like 90 seconds.
Yeah, or maybe even less.
Yeah.
I know as a single woman, when we were training and walking, a guy might pass and might make my head turn. I mean, I'm not trying to get his attention because I'm focused on my athleticism and my goal. But I might turn around and look at the back view.
No, I had to point some out to you. Thank you.
Yeah. So you kind of, your neck whips around. It's just an instant. And then if you studied him a little further or stopped and asked him something, then you may go, no.
Right.
Just the way they carry themselves, the way they speak. But that initial reaction, you may miss somebody that could be the love of your life just passing by because that initial reaction just didn't click. That initial appearance didn't click. That's the biological part. So we kind of agree that 90 seconds is...
Yes, 90 seconds is
I think
plenty.
you evaluate it subconsciously, whether you're even doing it or not.
Right.
Let's say you walked in and you got a Starbucks coffee and you walked out and got in the car and I said, was that guy cute that just waited on you like I couldn't see him? You would probably know, that was all right, or no, not really, or yeah,
Right.
he was. And you're not even really thinking about that. It's just,
Right.
you evaluate it quick. So that's very interesting to me. All right, intense initial attraction does not mean a lasting, healthy relationship, as you just said. For instance, alpha males, to whom many women tend to be more attracted to, also tend to be promiscuous. Because a lot of women find them attractive. So I think some women go for the less attractive guy after they've been cheated on by the really good-looking guy that they're really attracted to. You know how you can sometimes see traditionally gorgeous women with traditionally not so great-looking guys. I think they're trying to be safe,
You really do think that?
Yeah, I do. But I don't think it matters. I think they'll still cheat if they're cheaters. You know what I mean?
Yes, I've known not so attractive people to cheat
Yeah, I agree with that.
a lot.
Exactly. There are some other biological factors that can impact attraction beyond the first impression. Okay, these are actual physical things that happen in your body. Adrenaline and arousal. If you're already excited or pumped up from adrenaline, you're more likely to be attracted to someone you meet. One of the most famous studies of biological factors affecting attraction had two groups contacted by an attractive interviewer who gave them a questionnaire. One of the group, this is so funny, was on a suspension bridge that caused fear. The other group was on a normal bridge that did not cause fear. I don't know why they all had to be on bridges, but they discovered that those who were on the fear-arousing suspension bridge were more likely to say, what's her number? Or can I contact her? Is she single? Or try to talk to her later than the people who were not all hyped up with adrenaline and fear.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
I've never thought when I've been afraid, boy, I sure am attracted to that person over there.
Ooh, I want to go on a date with somebody. I'm scared to death.
Scared to death.
I need a man.
Never once crossed my mind.
Well, it's a phenomenon, Tia, and it's called misattribution of arousal, which is when individuals make a mistake about what they think caused them to feel all excited was this person rather than their circumstance that they were in. In another case, participants misattributed their adrenaline when they were on a roller coaster. When they got off the ride, they were shown the photo of an individual. They were asked to rate the individual on attractiveness and dating desirability, and they found the ratings higher to those who had just gotten off the roller coaster than just asking them when they were in the crowd. Go ahead. I just want to know what you think.
I puked on the picture. like roller coaster.
What do you think of him?
So I wish there would be a picture. That's what I would know.
And they'd be like, not attractive.
Not attractive.
So I have known this before this part. I'd heard it before because on The Bachelor, to go back to The Bachelor, they make them go on adrenaline stimulating dates like mountain climbing, helicopter rides, skydiving, bungee jumping. And those who go on those adventure dates or high energy dates, they immediately bond together, and sometimes that's who they choose at the end. It was like the first date, and they do these exciting things, so they must know that too. That's why they do that. Now I think it would be a good idea, like if you were working in a building with someone you were very attracted to try to engineer like getting stuck in an elevator with them, or a fake robbery where you're together.
No, you just
I have thought about that because you would be going through this trauma together. You would share this trauma in this rush, and you survived. You would always have that trauma together to share, that survival thing to
the
share.
next time you see somebody that you're really attracted to, just say, get in my car, and then crash.
Hopefully we'll survive. Now what I would do to you is I would say, I'm going to get this guy to take me to this certain area. Like, act like you're sticking us up. Like, use your finger in your jacket and act like it's a hold up for me.
Okay, for me to do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, who else am I
And
going
then
to get?
he's probably got a gun on him, and then he kills me. So, yeah.
All right, that is a flaw in that plan. But you remember Friends, the Friends episode where Chandler got locked in a vestibule with Jill Goodacre? You remember that? I'm locked in a vestibule with Jill Goodacre. He called Ross to tell him, but he didn't want her to hear. The power had gone out. It was like a blackout in the whole city of New York. So they were locked in I guess it was like an ATM glassed in area. So they bonded together going through that trauma. And then when they got out, it was kind of like, well, bye. But you're forced to share things with each other and form that bond. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right. I do.
Okay. So there is a scientific reason behind that. Okay, so we've got the adrenaline factor. We've got your sight when you first see someone. Then we have pheromones and scent. And this is a big one. How someone smells can cause physical attraction. Many people assume it means like if they've just showered or they're wearing cologne. While these things do impact if someone is attracted to someone, like you may prefer a scent over another scent, cologne, your natural scent plays a role. And all bodies produce pheromones. They can be seen as messengers that deliver information about desire, attraction, hormone levels, and even fertility when they're released through our sweat. This is gross.
I know.
Bodily excretions. Sweat, saliva, even urine, Tia. While they don't have a specific smell we can identify, our bodies pick up on these scents and influence our behavior. Some people naturally produce more pheromones than others, and research has found those who have elevated pheromone levels have more physical interaction with partners, they feel more confident, and they bond easier with others. What do you think?
I have heard that people do have their own scents that are just like their scents. I mean, nobody else has a scent like that, or the pheromones, everything. But I don't know, maybe my body has, but I've never thought, golly, this person smells yummy.
Yeah. I mean, I've smelled cologne that I like or didn't like.
Yeah.
You know, somebody comes in with Axe body spray on or whatever. I don't know, maybe Axe body spray smells good. That's just kind of a cliche that it's not supposed to smell good. You're like, oh gosh, or if they wear too much, that can be a turn off. But the natural smell you don't pick up on, but if you think about, I mean, have you ever like sniffed one of Greg's t-shirts when he was gone and you missed him, or his bed sheets or whatever? Can you smell a smell?
Oh yeah, but it's I think it's more as cologne.
Oh, okay. But it mixes with his body.
Yes.
Several things pop in my head, like how you could wear one scent and I could wear it and it would smell differently on.
And it does.
Yeah, because you'll smell somebody and say, ooh, what are you wearing? And then you go buy it yourself and you're like, eh. That didn't work on me.
Right.
So that must be your pheromone mixing with. We had a show about scents. Go back in the Wayback Machine. It's called
Way.
Do You Smell That? So look it up. Do you smell that? And we go way into scents and things like that. And then you think about dogs. We were talking last week just how dogs can smell where their owners are, like graves and things. We're just guessing that might be what it is. But smell is a big deal for them. That's why they'll
Yes.
grab your socks or whatever. So it's got to be there. I don't know what my scent. I've never smelled you. Have you ever smelled me?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I was trying to think. And we should have smelled each other, especially after sweating.
Yeah, we sweated a lot together. Okay. We've exercised a lot together. Moving on. All right. And what did you say, in case somebody does not want to go back and listen to? Do you smell that episode that men find most attractive? The smell in women, or they associate them as being younger when they smell this smell. Do you remember?
Was it citrus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grapefruit. Yeah. All right. So, diet. This is a crazy one. It's no mystery that what we eat impacts our bodies, and many people agree that what you eat can impact how you smell. Like you've been to Olive Garden. If your family went to Olive Garden and somebody got in the car with you, and they'd be like, "Lord, children, where have you been?" A garlic farm.
Yes. Oh. Or lots of onions.
Yeah. I eat a lot of raw onions. I'd probably come in here and gross you out in this little studio area. But some research has found what you eat can impact your pheromones. There's no miracle food that will make you more sexually attractive. I was getting ready to write it down. What can I eat that'll make more pheromones? But there are limitations surrounding diet and pheromones in humans. Such research has found eating a healthy and well-balanced diet can have a positive impact and increase your pheromones, thus increase your desirability to others. So if you think about it, if eating healthy increases your pheromones, attracts more people, then you're going to make healthier babies. I feel like it all kind of goes back to that. You're attracted to people who look healthy, symmetrical, because it's about procreation. When you get down to the nitty gritty, obviously as you get older, that's not what you're thinking. It's subconscious. So if you're eating healthy, you're giving out healthy pheromones.
Okay,
So
are you
that's
still
my
thinking
problem.
about having a child?
No.
Okay.
I was thinking I shouldn't have eaten that cheeseburger. Why am I alone?
With the fries.
With the fries. Yeah, so that's really, you think about different reasons to eat healthy, but I've never thought about, put out those scent better.
Nor have I.
Interesting. Okay. Fine.
Very.
Okay. Hormones. Hormones are most commonly associated with puberty, but can also impact attraction. For example, lower levels of testosterone often decreases libido, and as a result, individuals may feel less attraction or arousal. I mean, obviously, yeah. Other hormones like oxytocin can play a role in sexual attraction. There's a common myth that not all people produce oxytocin. However, oxytocin is produced by all bodies and plays an important role in how we bond with one another. And that kind of goes along with the neurotransmitters, which is another thing. It's the dopamine and serotonin, referred to as happy chemicals. Like I feel this way when I see my dessert coming across the restaurant. It's that dessert that you just don't get very often. It's a special treat, but you order it and it's coming. You know the one I'm talking about. You get, I do.
Of course you do.
I get like an excited, good, tingly feeling. When I used to date a guy and I would think, when I look at him, I feel like I look when I look at a big banana split or chocolate sundae. That's how I can't wait to see it. I should have said that. Is that TMI? But I think that's the same hormone that I'm releasing, the dopamine or the serotonin. I think we all know that feeling, right? It's kind of fades sometimes, but if you think about when you're first dating somebody, I can't wait till they get here.
Oh, I know. For sure.
Okay. So when you're attracted to someone, your serotonin levels increase, and your brain also increases the dopamine. And that's why you act like a dope sometimes. I think that's where that comes from, don't you? get
I
it?
think you just made that up.
Did I?
Yes.
It's scientific. It could be. All this results in increased positive emotion and a sense of elation. It's a little high. It really is.
Yes.
People who have lower levels of dopamine and serotonin may experience decreased libido and attraction for others. This is going to be unique to each individual, but that's what, sometimes men have to go get testosterone, and women. Sometimes they'll treat women who are just not interested in, are not attracted or interested in having any kind of romantic relations will get testosterone.
That's exactly
You saw my
right.
mind go blank. The reason why I went blank, I was thinking about my ex-mother-in-law. She told me, I went and got some testosterone today, and I was like, I don't really want to know about that, but I guess I should have been happy for her, but it's...
Well, yeah, probably you should have been, since she really probably needed it.
Yeah. All right. Taste. Okay. This could get weird. Taste and smell kind of go hand in hand. Like when your nose is stopped up, you can't really taste anything. Lose your appetite. But it comes as no surprise that taste impacts attraction. While research on this is less prevalent, we do know pheromones are secreted through the saliva. So if you kiss, sometimes if you kiss a guy, you're going to become, if the pheromones are right, you're going to become more attached than if you didn't have that goodnight kiss on the first date. I think you kind of know. Have you ever had like a really bad goodnight kiss on your first date?
Yes.
Did it just end everything?
Yes. It did.
Yeah. And have you ever gone out with somebody that you weren't? You're like, oh, they're nice, but they're not really my type. And then they kiss goodnight, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yes, I have.
I've done that too.
I mean, like, I kiss my husband now, but I mean, I'd rather kiss him after he's brushed his teeth.
Yeah, there is that.
Just for fun.
There is that factor of, you want cleanliness, you don't want food taste or garlic or anything like that. But
or mayonnaise.
gosh, yes, mayonnaise. But aside from all
that was the ending. Just
period,
saying.
mayonnaise, period.
No, that's what ended it. The kiss with mayonnaise.
For real?
Oh,
What?
yes. I mean, who eats a sandwich and then kisses?
Oh, no.
Thank
I hate
you.
mayonnaise.
I know.
So he took a bite of something with mayonnaise and reached over and kissed you?
Well, I mean, it wasn't still in his mouth, but I mean, I could.
Oh,
no.
So, if you're really attracted to somebody and it's your first date, it's good to get that kiss if you are attracted to lure them in, or maybe to see if you actually are attracted
Right.
to them with that. I would think that would be the most pheromones would be mouth to mouth as opposed to nose to
To nose.
or anything to
all
anything else.
Eskimos will agree with that. They might like nose to nose.
Like if somebody sneezes in your face. You're like, ooh, I'm attracted.
Throw up.
Didn't say anything about sneezing here, but...
Good.
So our five senses are also constantly used to gather information about the world around us. If a certain taste is off-putting to you, like mayonnaise,
Yes.
this being present when you're with someone will likely impact your attraction. And this could also be like alcohol or cigarettes. You might find somebody less attracted than if they taste like a mint or whatever. But I feel like if you're both doing that thing, if you both smoke or you're both eating the Olive Garden, then you kind of cancel each other out. Like you can't really taste it on somebody else if you have it in your mouth too, you think?
Maybe, but that's just, that just makes me, to think even,
So, didn't you used to smoke for a brief time?
Yes, I did.
Did it bother you when when you kissed a guy that smoked, or did you not notice it because you were smoking too?
I think it was probably like both of us were kissing ashtrays.
Okay.
I mean,
But it kind of canceled it out, though, didn't it?
oh no, it was just both. Ugh.
Oh, okay.
I
Well, you feel
mean-
about it that way now, but that was probably like the best taste in the world back then.
Well, way back way back.
Right, I understand.
Shoo.
Okay, so that was our biological reasons we're attracted. Psychological factors can also impact who we are and aren't attracted to. So your mood, your similarities with them, the availability of your partners, what's around you, what are your choices, and even the differences like opposites attract can all play a role. So your mood, research has found that those who are experiencing an elevated mood or just received positive news are more likely to be interested in the very next person they meet.
Wow.
So you could be in like a really foul mood and pass by somebody that could be the one, I guess just because you're not. So you should always stay in a good open mood, right? The more you're interested or like a person, the more likely you are to develop an attraction to them. Also, when you're in a more positive mood, you'll be more likely interested in talking to someone. Yeah, that's what we just said. You wouldn't like pass them by if you're in a better mood. You may be more engaged in the meeting and have more positive memories associated with that meeting or that person. I was thinking about friends, like if you're at a party and you meet somebody new, say a female, and you've had a glass of wine and everybody's having fun, it's like a celebratory environment, and you exchange phone numbers. Oh, we got to go to lunch sometime. And then the next day, maybe they call you, or a week later, and you're like,
Well,
I was in a really good mood that day.
and I
Block.
don't like you today? Wow.
Or maybe you do meet up for lunch with them, and then you're like, they're not as fun as I
What I
remembered.
thought
Have you ever done
you were.
that?
No, I think I was the one that went, "Eh."
Yeah. But I can see that happening, definitely.
I really liked you the other night, but today,
Not so much.
not so much. I don't try a week later and see if I'm in a better mood.
Yeah, exactly. But I can see, like, again, going back to The Bachelor, it's so psychological. They're in this house, having everything paid for, their food paid for. It's a beautiful house. They're glamorous. They got makeup artists and all that. And there's one guy, and you fall into that. I mean, you watch The Golden Bachelor. It's like everything's kind of perfect and engineered, and you're in a good mood, and you're a little tipsy, and then you get back to reality, and you're like, wait a
And
minute.
it's just not so fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right, disclosure. Sometimes we form relationships with others, whether it be a friendship or a sexual attraction, after we disclose something personal about ourselves. Disclosure increases liking because it creates support and trust between people. We typically don't disclose our most intimate thoughts to a stranger. We do this with people we are close to because it creates a bond with them. Disclosure does not automatically lead to forming a relationship, though. Disclosure needs to be appropriate and reciprocal. In other words, if you provide information, it must be mutual. If you reveal too much or too little, it might be regarded as inappropriate, and that can actually ruin a relationship. If you're like, why are you telling me this? We just met each other. Also, if you disclose information too early in a relationship, it can kind of freak people out. What do you think about all that?
Okay, I do agree that you shouldn't tell too much on the onset. However, as far as, divulging secrets or telling things that you wouldn't just tell anyone, I do think that brings you a lot closer. I mean, I know that, when Greg and I first started dating, I loved for us to have like intimate conversations. To me, that was better than anything. I mean, it just gave me like a feeling.
Yeah, I think everybody wants that, to feel like they're home finally. You know how that movie, Waiting to Exhale?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, this is somebody I can tell him. I feel like I can tell him this.
Right.
Why? It's just your instinct tells you. And maybe they go first, and you think, okay, I'm not judging him. Maybe he won't judge me if I share this. So, yeah, I mean, especially for women, it's like...
kind of like scary, though, because you're going to jump or you're not. And you're kind of, and I wonder what makes us jump.
Yeah, like you tell him something and you see the look on his face and think, I shouldn't have told that.
Exactly.
Like the blood runs out of his face.
And then you just say, I was kidding.
I was kidding.
Wasn't that funny?
I dreamed it. Did I tell you that was a dream I had? Like you wouldn't want to say, sometimes I eat raw roadkill or squirrel. I take it home. I get roadkill and I take it home and cook it. Have you ever had roadkill? No, me either. That's always my thing. Me either. But I can see even with friendship, like you and I bonded over a road trip because you call it vomit. Tell me your vomit. And we shared vomit.
Yes.
And without judgment.
Right. And I mean, and sometimes vomit is hard to share.
Yeah. Sometimes it just comes out. Sometimes you have to make it come out. But you always feel better after it comes out.
I think so.
Yeah. If you you didn't judge me, you didn't change how you acted towards me. The look on your face, you were very listening and very intent and emotional about it, but I could tell you weren't judging me.
No, I was not judging you. I was angry. I
Yeah.
mean, not at you.
There's very few people I share certain things with, and I'm sure you too. And it's sometimes you have to wait and judge somebody not judge, but evaluate your relationship and think, what would they
Right.
think about me? Because you don't want to lose
You
it.
need to be in a free of judgment
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
Just judgment-free zone.
Exactly. And it's hard to know if you are or not.
That's exactly correct.
So if it's a first date, ladies and gentlemen, just don't blurt everything out.
Yeah.
Have a little mystery. And I think once you know you can do that, that's what attracts you to that person, because you feel like I can trust them. And that's not always true. It can come back and bite you, but you got to try it. You got to trust somebody at some time and see what happens. And
Right.
you can't build a relationship based on lies by omission, I guess what I'm saying. Don't you feel like a partner deserves to know everything about you for the most part? If you're going to if you're going to get married, at least.
Right.
Can't be really any secrets, I don't think.
No, but I mean, some things are. I do think that there are some things that are just better left unsaid. Like, in the past, leave them in the past.
Okay. Could be. You don't want to know everything you're thinking at all times. Like,
No,
are you really going to wear that shirt?
seriously.
Yeah. You don't want to hurt their feelings, but I've had a relationship with just pretending to be something I wasn't just because I didn't trust the person, and I was never relaxed or comfortable, and I thought they're not even interested in me because they don't even know who I am really. It's like, this is fake, Dena.
See, I couldn't fake that long.
That's good. Well, it didn't last too long.
Okay, good.
For that reason. Yeah, it's a fine line to know what to do, but it's such a good feeling when you realize you can do it. Okay, likes attract likes. Research finds we are often attracted to those that are similar to us. This is called assortative mating. For example, tall people being attracted to other tall people. But why does this happen? For one, being around those who are similar to us, it can be comforting, predictable, validating. Many people also want to be involved with those who have similar attitudes, enjoy the same activities, and have similar backgrounds. Research has also shown we often favor those who belong to the same group as we do, commonly called in-group bias, you're going to say it. In-group.
Familiarity?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
One of the reasons why proximity matters to attraction is it breeds familiarity. People are more attracted to that which feels familiar. Just being around someone or repeatedly exposed to them increases the likelihood that you'll be attracted to them. We also tend to be safe with familiar people, as it's likely we know what to expect from them. That's called mere exposure effect. So, like, let's say they use the example of college students. They go to class every day, the same class, they're learning things together. They go through the stress of an exam together. The more you see them, the more you feel comfortable with them, you're going to likely find them attractive. It's just a theory, and that's just something that happens to some people. You hear opposites attract, which we'll talk about that, but familiarity, oh my gosh, I can't say that word.
Familiarity?
Can attract.
This would be the first right now for me to pronounce the word.
It's a hard word when I have to turn
Let's
it.
just honestly write this one down for history.
Okay.
It's good.
It's in here a lot, too.
Oh, wow.
I'll just say sameness. How about
How
sameness?
about that? I like that.
Yeah. So I think if you like yourself, maybe or if you have gone through trauma because there's something certain about you that you find in someone else, that can happen. But generally, as a rule, for me, would be an opposite kind of thing for me. What about you? Are you?
You'd have to like some of the same things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
some
mean,
deal breakers.
Yeah, I mean, like, had Greg said, the only thing I really like to eat is sushi, then it'd be a deal breaker.
Yeah, 'cause your house would smell like raw fish all the
Well,
time.
no, I mean, I just wouldn't be with him, period.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Gotcha. Yeah, if somebody likes to live in super cold weather all the time or super hot, you can't be in the same location. And there's a lot of things, but I can see how.
But the tall, I don't know. I was trying to think about that, and I mean,
I guess a really tall, and we're going to be stereotyping here, but a really tall girl is going to look for a really tall guy as a rule. Because generally, and again, I'm generalizing, women want their man to be doesn't to be real tall, but taller than them, don't you think? Oh, a woman that's been tall her whole life probably wants to feel small occasionally.
probably. I don't know, because you see, like, I mean, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, that's true. She likes her guys little. Interesting.
Well, I don't know if she likes her guys little. It's just that
Tom Cruise and Keith Urban are both little.
she's tall.
Yeah.
Keith Urban.
I think she's like 5'10". I'm not sure. We can look it up. All right, so that's familiar sameness. That's sameness. Similarness. This can even carry into negative stuff you wouldn't think. So, for example, if you grew up with an alcoholic person as a parent, let's say, you may tend to be attracted to people who are alcoholics because you know how to deal with that. It's familiar territory. It was who you were taught love by was an alcoholic, who you were first loved by. Even when someone's behavior or personality is hurtful, on a subconscious level, some part of you may find comfort in that behavior. Good or bad, the environment in which you grew up is the only home you've ever known. So for this reason, when you start to make your own home, you may go towards that. And of course, the opposite can be true, and we'll talk about that too. But how do you feel about that?
I just think that I would go in the opposite direction instead of going to something that was hurtful to begin with.
Yeah. I think you would think that's what you want to do, but you may find yourself, I'm
You're
back in that
exactly
situation.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. You wake up and find, this is like my dad. If you had a negative thing about your dad or what, I'm not saying you, if one had a negative thing about their dad, like, well, shoot.
I married somebody just like my father.
Yeah, somebody would say that. Yeah, that's kind of a common thing. And it's because you were a child. That was home. That's what home looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting my own home. So let's go find an alcoholic to live with. That'll be fun.
Well, that's when they need to start breaking that cycle.
Exactly. Easier said than done. Okay, here's another big word to you. Not complimentary, complementarity. 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 How would you say?
Okay.
So, same, right? No, opposite. Opposite. Complement. It's actually different than opposite. While similarity is important, complementary characteristics have often been found to be equally as important. While this may sound similar, we're talking about complementary. It means two characters support one another. And I think this is us, Tia. For example, an introverted person who is with an extroverted person, or someone who is more hyper is with someone who's more relaxed. Many might say this supports the opposites attract, and there's some truth to it, but it's really more you complement. You fill in those holes or gaps that you have in your personality. You're more likely to be attracted to someone who is similar in your values and qualities, but complementary in your characteristics. So there could be a sameness and a differentness. And I think that's us. We say that a lot jokingly, that together we make a healthy brain or a person between the two. Or I say that.
It's something like that. But that I 1,000% agree with, because I do think the thing that Greg and I are alike in is we're both type A personalities,
Okay.
which is not good. However, like when we're with other couples out or whatever, like our personalities like complement each other, because there's he's humorous. He's very humorous.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a little bit, actually sarcastic. I'm a lot sarcastic.
Nuh-uh.
Shut up, I know.
You lie.
Can you believe that? But the thing of it is I'm only doing it in fun. And so he plays off that very well. And
So you make like a good comedy team when you go out.
Well, okay. Well, that's pretty.
Yeah,
Isn't
you're
it?
like the Smothers Brothers.
Smothers Brothers.
That's a way back one.
Like Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, Sonny and Cher. You are like Sonny and Cher. If you've never heard of Sonny and Cher, never seen it, go watch it. Yeah, because she kind of acts like she's annoyed, but she's really not. And then he's playful and fun and
Right.
makes jokes. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Greg's too tall to be Sonny, though.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think, your go-gettingness, your go-getter. We do things, accomplish things because you're a go-getter and you're a planner. And I'm what I do. I just agree to everything and show up. Okay. Or maybe do I keep you calm or keep you focused, or do I do anything that helps your life?
Absolutely. You bring joy.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you bring your childlikeness.
Okay.
Probably.
Probably
That's what I love.
if I was like you and a go-getter and planner and we're going to do it this way, we would butt heads, I think. So we're complementary in
Yes.
that way. I'd be like, no, go this way. And you're like, no, it's faster this way. I'm just like, all right, let's go.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Go whatever way you think, because I have no idea how to get there. Yeah, I like that about us. So when you say opposites attract, it's really a perceived gain is what they call it. So if you meet someone and you've been around them enough, you subconsciously think the rewards are better than the costs when I'm around this person. We disagree on this and this, we butt heads maybe on this, but the rewards outweigh the costs because she fills in my blanks,
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Yeah. You fill in my blanks, Tia.
Okay,
Okay.
but we don't date.
I know, but attraction, when you have a friend, it's attraction too.
Mm.
It's a different kind of attraction, right?
Right.
Yeah, it has to be. Okay. All right, so Tia, we have a complementary attraction. There's a thing called attachment styles, and I'll include a link if you want to go to it. And it's kind of good to take us like a little quiz, I think, questionnaire, and you can discover what attachment style you have, because if you keep getting in dead-end relationships or frustrating relationships, or they just don't last, it could be your attachment style is the problem. And what they are is secure attachment, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, and disorganized attachment. And it describes all those. I just think in the interest of time, we're not going to have time to talk about them. But it's something to look into if you feel like you have relationship issues.
It could be you.
It could be.
Just
I never thought of that.
I wasn't saying you.
I know, just kidding.
It could be
It
you.
could be you, listener friend. Okay, scarcity is also a psychological thing. And that's what we were saying before. Like if you're in the bachelor house, you've only got so many choices. If you're one of the bachelorettes and it's the bachelor show, you've got one choice.
Right.
And if you're competitive, you want to win. If you see other women desiring this guy, but he may not be somebody you look at twice in your real life. So that's the scarcity thing. Back in the olden days when there were no cars or quick means of travel, took you days to get to another town, you're going to marry somebody in your area, in your...
Your tree's not going to fork.
Exactly. Exactly. That's where we get mountain people. I'm a mountain person, so I can say that. So that's called scarcity, which I think is kind of self-explanatory. Now today, we have no excuse for that because you have dating apps, internet, jets. You could conceivably meet and marry anybody in the world because it's all out there for you. If you can financially afford to travel and
Right.
things like that. So scarcity is not really an issue anymore. All right. Those are all the psychological things. Social reasons, alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. The term beer goggles has more truth to it than you may think. Alcohol lowers inhibition and aids in you relaxing. Your mind kind of opens, and people look more attractive. You're less, I think we all know what this is. We've all succumbed to that. And it also gives like men liquid courage to approach somebody they might not normally approach. And it could end in a great relationship and a marriage. I mean, a lot of people have met at bars and clubs and have grandchildren now, So
Right.
it helps give you courage to relax and have a good conversation. You're not thinking about everything you're saying. So it can be good, it can be bad, obviously. Political views. I think it used to be, we don't talk about politics here, but briefly, political views used to be like, well, we disagree a little on this or that and the other thing, but we can get along. Doesn't seem to be the thing anymore. It's so polarizing that would probably be a deal breaker for me.
Mm-hmm.
Would it for you?
I know several people who that has been a deal breaker, period.
Really? They broke up over elections and things like that?
No, over where they stood
Yeah.
politically, period. Not over an election, just political views.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think you're correct, because I think that back when, we were really, really young, that didn't even enter into the equation, period.
I'd vote one way and another way, another way. If the
Right.
guy was cute, I'd vote for him. It's like, I didn't realize how important it was. So therefore, it didn't turn me off if somebody said, you voted for them, and laughed, I'd be like, yeah. It was just, we moved on, but
Yeah, but
now
it's
it's
not like that today.
yeah, it can turn you off instantly
Mm-hmm.
to someone. So, and it is important. So, if that's what turns you off, that's what turns you off. So I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. But there's no sense creating a life with someone that you disagree on basic values, which is really what politics is.
Exactly.
So in 2018, 70% of households had couples of the same political affiliation, and only 30 had a mismatch. You can change in a relationship. You want your marriage to last forever if you're married, but people change and evolve, and sometimes it's, like I say, a deal breaker. I mean, suddenly somebody changes, whether it's appearance or political views, or maybe a hobby they pick up, or just a habit they pick up, and you
Our
can't.
religious views.
Yes, someone could change their mind or come into a new religion, and the other one, it's just a deal breaker, and I don't think that means it failed. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just think that, especially in marriages, long-term marriages, you go through seasons, and each party has to be willing to go through that season, because you never know, you may come out better on the other side of it. But I do think that because we all change. I mean, I'm not the same person that Greg married almost 29 years ago.
Right.
And
It would be
nor
weird
is
if
he.
you were.
I know.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So you just have to kind of buckle down and ride it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, culture is another thing. So, if someone's from a different country that's very different from the one you're in, that can cause that can be a deal breaker. That can be impossible to overcome. It doesn't mean you're racist or prejudiced or think you're better than them or they're better than you. It's just such a difference in culture and culture can also make you more attractive to someone, like just even in appearance. There are some cultures where thinness is more attractive and others where, a hip to waist ratio, like the big curves. Some countries are curvy I wish it was here. Which I think it has, I kind of feel good about, a lot of things have changed. I feel good about how, I feel like anything goes as far as weight, clothing, appearance. People are less judgmental and there's somebody for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, you hear people less criticizing looks, I think. Where they're I feel like when I grew up in school, there was kind of one attractive blueprint.
I think it's because we're not in school anymore.
Oh, could be. That's it.
Because I think I've heard some really nasty things.
Have you?
About people talking. I mean,
people don't call people
grown
fat anymore.
Adults talking about, an appearance or whatever. I just think that that should have been left in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I think it's even in like middle school now.
Oh, no. Ugh. They don't like to think about that. Right. So, and cultures can also, religion comes into play there. And like modesty, like a guy might be attracted to a woman who is dressed modestly because it's the culture and the religion. And another guy would say, why are you dressed like that? You know, why aren't you showing what you got? You know, there's the culture of that too. So regardless, looking fit and healthy, according to this study, was associated with attractiveness. While physical fitness, appearance, and health are not always correlated, many use this as a gauge. Attractive people are often seen as having positive qualities, where those who are deemed less attractive have negative qualities. So when somebody sees somebody who's traditionally fit with muscles, you think they're healthy. You think subconsciously, I want to procreate with that person because they're young, fit, healthy, they eat well, as opposed to, I'm trying not to be mean. I'm just saying, even though you may like a more curvy person, when you see someone who is muscular and fit, you automatically have a positive feeling about them. Now, I don't like the big, bulky guys because I feel like they spend all their time doing that, and that doesn't look healthy to me. But a fit, muscular guy, I'm going to think have a positive reaction to. They've got their life together. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was trying not to use the word slob, and I currently am a slob, but I think you've got your act together when I see somebody who's fit, lean and fit. Is that wrong?
Yes. No, I mean, but it's just lifestyles that people choose. If you're going to be healthy and fit, that you have to be dedicated to that. That's not like, oh, I'll do that this week, but the next 2 weeks, forget it. I mean, that's like every single day thing to think about it.
Yeah, so I guess it's something you aspire to and you respect. You know, when you see somebody who's fit, you respect. If I see a woman who's really fit and muscular, I respect them and think they've really got their life together. I want to be like that.
I'll be driving down the road, honestly, and I'll see like some woman out that's probably 10 years older than me, in arms, everything. She's running and looks, I mean, hot.
Yeah.
Just completely hot. And I'm like, you go, girl.
I do too. I don't feel jealous. It's not a jealousy. It's a, wish I had arms like that. But I don't hate her for having those arms, and I don't. I ran into a friend at the vet. I saw the back of her, and I thought she was probably 30. You know how you just quickly evaluate somebody. She had on Daisy Dukes, muscular legs, calves, a sleeveless top, muscular arms, thick, lustrous hair. She turned around, and it was somebody that I am the same age as. As a matter of fact, born in the same month, same year. And I thought, dang. What have I been doing with my life? You know, It's possible to have muscles at our age and have firm skin and all. And anyway, I'm just saying to say, this next thing is called aesthetic attraction, where you're attracted to someone even though it's not a sexual attraction. And I don't have same-sex attraction, so I knew that was an aesthetic attraction. And I just wanted to keep looking at her and thinking, how's she doing that? And I'm sure she was like, would you quit looking at me? And I'm sure she looked at me and thought, God, you slob kebab. You really let it all go, haven't you? So I had a lot of respect for her and thought she's got her life together. I automatically thought that when I saw her. Now, she could have horrible problems and sadness that I'm not aware of, and she's human, so she probably does, but that outer appearance I respect it. Mm-hmm. Aesthetically pleasing.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. And it also conveys confidence, and like they're passionate about dedicated about their health. And so you automatically think positive things. So there's a difference between genders and perceived attractiveness. If you're going to generalize, there's always exceptions to every rule. Most people value physical attractiveness as well as certain personality characteristics such as kindness, humor, dependability, intelligence, and sociability across cultures and across genders. But physical attractiveness is more important to men than women. Are you shocked?
None. Whatsoever.
I don't know how much they spent on that research. But
Yeah. $1?
I think we've talked about this before, but women's looks are their currency or value, and men's accomplishments and their job and their possessions are their value, if you're generalizing. Now, there's always exceptions, and I think we can't deny that.
Okay, then I'm not going to.
Okay. Yeah, people criticize men because they say, he's just with her because of the way she looks. And I'm like, well, that's what he that's, she's with him. Look at him. She's with him because of what he has or what he's accomplished, because he can keep her safe, secure, take care of her. She can have children with him because he can provide. He's attracted to her because she will have healthy, attractive children. I mean, it's just nature. Deal with
Okay,
it.
but you do have to admit as well that somebody could be very, very attractive, be it male or female, and open their mouth and be about the ugliest person you've ever known in your life.
For sure, for sure. And there are people who are not traditionally attractive that I find attractive because maybe the way they speak or what they've done or how compassionate they've been. It becomes attractive. Okay, this is this great inside of this person, and this is what the shell happens to look like. So therefore, that shell
But
becomes...
they become more attractive.
Yeah.
When you get to know them.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think of an ugly food. Like, it looks ugly on the outside, but when you eat it, you enjoy it. And so you would learn to accept that's what that looks like. You know, like a
Brussels sprout.
a Brussels sprout. Well, you don't like Brussels sprouts either,
No.
but yeah, or like I'm trying to think of a messy, yucky. On the way home, I'm going to think of the most ugly food that tastes so good. But I mean, I like spinach. Spinach doesn't, but that's not traditionally a good food. An ugly bear claw or an ugly donut. You know, they're called uglies. They look ugly, but they taste good. Not a good analogy.
No, not really. Because you just sent me to Krispy Kreme in my head.
All right. Age. Ugh. We cannot deny age as a factor in attractiveness. And it's threefold. Older faces are found less attractive when they research. They slap down some photos in front of people. Who's more attractive? Who's more attractive?
With those older people, men or women?
Well, men are
Because-
more concerned about it.
Okay, because
Than
you
women.
slap down an older man, then people are going to say, oh, he's so distinguished looking.
Yeah.
And then you slap down a picture of an older woman, man, she's haggard.
Exactly. That's just the way it is, because I'm guilty of doing that myself, you know? And some of it is psychological, like you feel like they're not going to be maybe as fun because they're older, or not going to be able to do as much. But it's also symmetry is attractive. Even eyes, straight nose, even mouth. You know, there's a ratio that you can go online and see of what a face should technically is most attractive based on a lot of research. When you start to age, things get asymmetric. You know, your eye will fall on one side and mouth will droop on one side. And that psychologically tells you that person is not, I know I'm getting depressed, it's not as healthy. Is not. And for some reason it matters more to women. Maybe because women's faces are softer and prettier and men are more rugged even as they're young. Like, have you noticed how an actor who's not traditionally attractive gets more attractive as he gets older? Or you don't notice, whereas a pretty boy actor, as he gets older, gets less attractive because he's not pretty anymore. So it's just a pretty thing, whether it's female pretty or
Right.
male pretty. Yeah, it's just a fact, folks. But there's someone for everyone, and it said that it did find that some men found, they showed a woman as a younger age and showed her as an older age, and they found her more attractive, not realizing it was the same woman, and because she exuded more confidence, you know, and maybe was looking right in the camera confidently, as opposed to when she was young, maybe she had her eyes down or
Right.
hadn't come into her own and her style. So that could be done too. Okay, so those are all the factors, Tia. Now, there are things called forbidden crushes. And the question is, can you control your attraction? Is it just out of your control? You shouldn't beat yourself up when you realize you developed a crush on someone. You shouldn't. We don't consciously tell our brain to generate attraction to particular people. It does it on its own. Although my mom said you can fall in love and be attracted to a rich man as easy as a poor man if you just work at it. Just try. All right. Okay. And they use this example that I used earlier. It's like looking at a decadent dessert and your mouth starts to water. You can't help a natural reaction from that. Now, have you ever had, now this would be before Greg, of course, have you ever had an inappropriate attraction? Whether it be somebody who was, a little younger than you, or maybe was your best friend's boyfriend, or...
An attraction, yes. I mean, do you necessarily have to follow through with that? I think that absolutely you do not have to.
And that's basically what this article says is you can't help that it happens, but you can help how
What
you
you do with
respond
it.
to it.
Right.
Yes. And it said some ways to deal with it. It says it's hard to stop thinking about what you tell yourself to stop thinking about. Like, don't eat that ice cream in the freezer. Don't eat that ice cream well, if it's in the fridge, you better eat it because it's going to melt. But if it's in the freezer, leave it. But if you allow yourself to say, I'd really like to have that ice cream. And maybe tell somebody, like tell Greg, I'd really like to eat the ice cream in the freezer, but I don't want to because I'm going to feel guilty
so
afterward.
Throw it away.
Maybe leave the house, maybe eat something else, so divert yourself. Or it says actually to tell people, unless you think it'll ruin relationships, because it becomes less powerful when you say it out loud.
It's kind of like a confession.
Yes, exactly. Like, have you ever had a dream about somebody just randomly out of the blue, and you wake up and you're attracted to them, whether it be a movie star or somebody in your life, and it goes away eventually? You kind of say it out loud and think, well, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever done.
Wasn't you just dreamt it?
Yeah, ever
You
done.
didn't
Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah, ever thought. Yeah. Why in the world? And then it becomes silly. But why do we find the wrong people attractive? Because it's like forbidden. It's off limits sometimes. And you also know that you can't commit to that person. It's like a fantasy. You're never going to really get to know their flaws, and you can't act on it. So it's fun to fantasize about it. And that can be harmless, like you say, if you don't act out on it. So confess it to the right person and bring it in.
Like your pastor. That way
Not to your husband. But I think some husband might understand, like, I had this crazy dream, or I thought this, and if he's understanding it, then it's ridiculous and you laugh about it and you move on. But you can't help it, so don't feel too bad about it. Okay, Tia, what we're going to do for fun is we're going to look at and I chose celebrities. I was going to do random guys, and then we're going to go like 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1. Which one do you think is the most attractive? But I thought that's not fair to our audience because they can't see what we're looking at. And I would put it on our video on YouTube, but more people do listen currently than watch our podcast. So I'm going to do, I think most people will know them. They're older. They're of a certain age because we're of a certain age. And I thought it'd be creepy to do young actors, really young actors. And I feel like more people would know these. So are you willing to play the game?
I'm willing to play.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'll do 3, 2, 1 with my fingers because that'll get annoying to people if I keep saying 3, 2, 1, and then we'll say it.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll also have to say who we're looking at.
Okay.
All right. First of all, to those listening, our listening friends, we have, and I tried to do kind of close to the same age because that's not fair to do a young guy and an older guy. We have George Clooney and Tom Cruise. They're actors, and I tried to choose attractive photos or both that would be evenly attractive, but I feel like as we're choosing these, all these factors are coming in because we know who these people are. We know, quote, who they are. And our brains are going to automatically go, and it might be, I'm attracted to him, but I didn't like that he did this thing, or I don't like that he believes this, is going to come into play, I think.
I don't.
Okay. So you're going strictly
I'm strictly
physical.
Going, yes.
Okay. Okay, when we go to one, and I'll point to you, and we're going to say it at the same time.
Okay. Which one we think is most
attractive?
Okay.
George Clooney.
Okay. Duh.
Yeah. Now, is it just strictly physical on this one, or is it
Strictly, I just find him much more attractive.
We agreed. All right, here's our next one. And for our listeners, it is Harrison Ford and Richard Gere. They're pretty close to the same age. And I think we're also going to factor in when they were younger, the movies we've seen, and how but don't you think when you like
But
somebody
we're just basing it on these photos, right?
No, just generally how you feel. I
Okay,
just wanted to
well-
have you something to look at. Your initial reaction to those names is what I guess I'm going to say. Not
Okay.
how they've aged necessarily. So if you went to high school with somebody you found attractive, you go to a reunion 20 years later, and I saw them, I'm not like, that's the hot guy you're talking about, but you kind of still see them as that. Your mind sees that younger
Okay.
person. You know
All
what I'm
right,
saying?
So I'm not basing it on these photos then.
Yeah, just
Okay.
you know who they are. You've
I
seen
do.
things they're in. You probably
Yes.
already based an opinion on them of whether you thought they were attractive or not in your past. Okay, so Harrison Ford, Richard Gere. Richard Gere. Oh, you're so smart.
Wow.
I find Harrison Ford attractive. He's very confident and kind of laid back. But Richard Gere's just,
Yeah.
always has been. Okay. Do you guys agree with us at home? I bet they don't. Again, we're not basing it on these photos. This is just how they happen to look now. They're close to the same age actors, Denzel Washington and Mel Gibson.
Okay.
Denzel Washington.
Wow.
We're more alike than I thought.
I know. I'm scared.
Mel Gibson in Mad Max and Lethal Weapon. Hottie, hottie, hottie.
I love Denzel, and I just think he's so pretty.
He's pretty, and he's also just great. He seems like a great guy. Loves his wife. Got a good head on his shoulders. I think he mentions God in speeches and things like that. So he's just yummy all the way around. And nice to look at. Sorry, Mel. Mel's had some problematic moments. All right. I think you know what I'm going to say on this one. All right, next up, listeners, Keanu Reeves, Johnny Depp. Keanu Reeves. Anything to say about either one of those?
I just thought he was more attractive when he was younger.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Johnny Depp was hot when he was young.
well, no, I mean but between those two, it is definitely Keanu.
Yeah. I feel like they're both kind of a lot alike, but I feel like Keanu Reeves maybe takes 2 showers a week, where Johnny Depp probably takes 1 shower a week. They're both a little shaggy, little natural. Let's say natural.
Very natural.
But you know how I feel
Those-
about Keanu.
Yeah, pheromones.
Those pheromones, they both have a lot of pheromones. They're strong, whatever they are. Okay. All right. These are both former wrestlers, now actors. Close to the same in age. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and John Cena. You ready?
Dwayne.
The Rock. Johnson. Yeah, my finger got stuck, so I didn't answer.
Okay. Your finger got stuck.
Definitely Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Even though we've seen a lot of John Cena at that award show.
Yeah. More than we probably needed to.
Yeah, okay. Robert Downey Jr. and Brad Pitt. Robert
Pitt.
Downey Jr. Ah, we finally had one we didn't agree on. I mean, Brad Pitt's a pretty boy. You gotta say.
He's still pretty.
Yeah. I just feel like he's not real bright. You think he's bright?
Okay, I don't really care. I'm just talking about looks.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with Robert Downey Jr. I think he's the thinking man. Good looking thinking man. And I don't like how he treated Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt. So.
I wasn't, but basing it on personalities or anything they've been in.
Well, it's good that you're keeping an open mind and able to do that. I'm not able to do that.
Well,
It just
apparently,
goes. brrr, my
obviously
brain.
you can't.
Okay.
It's quite obvious.
All right. Here we go. Will Smith and Chris Rock. As you remember, they had an interaction at an award show recently. Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. Okay. Just keep that in mind. You ready? Chris Rock. What? You said it too?
Mm-hmm.
What about that? Now, I did not find Chris Rock attractive when he was young. Saturday Night Live, you know, he was very skinny and kind of goofy acting like a little boy. But he's matured quite nicely.
Yes.
And I thought he handled that whole situation in a great... That makes me respect him and feel attracted to him. You know, he didn't fight back. He didn't...
Later
He did with his words, which is the way you should do it. He didn't. I mean, he didn't get physical, right?
No.
What did you think about that whole situation? Did it make you respect Chris Rock and disrespect Will Smith, or what did you think? Or did you think he was just defending his wife?
No, I just think it was all of it was just stupid.
Yeah. I think Will Smith's very attractive, and he's been in movies where he was the hero that, but it just ruined him for me. Unfortunately, that's sad. And like I say, Chris Rock is one of those people who had the baby face that got better as he got older, and he's a great actor. If you've ever seen him in any serious roles, he's really a good actor. All right, and finally, and most importantly, Tia, Chandler, Ross, or Joey. I need to think about this one a second. Okay, are you ready? This is from Friends, which would be Matthew Perry, David Schwimmer, and Matt LeBlanc. Okay, but I'm talking about their characters in the show, not in real life. Is that okay?
You're talking about their
They're
characters.
the characters, not the real people.
Oh.
Or do you want to do real people?
I thought we were doing this based on
Looks.
looks.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me think. This is
Okay.
tough for me. All right.
Matt
Ross.
LeBlanc.
Oh, okay. I said the character Ross. I said David Schwimmer. You said Matt LeBlanc. Oh, okay.
I think he's a doll.
Yeah, he's aged pretty well too. He's gotten a little heavy, but he's I like the salt and pepper hair, and he seems like a sweetheart too. But David Schwimmer just always did it for me. Isn't that weird?
Extremely.
And his hair, he's got great hair, and I think he's aged the best.
Okay.
Obviously too. Okay, well we did pretty good for the same. I thought we'd be totally.
We just there's only two that we didn't agree with.
Yeah, it was. Brad Pitt and Robert Downey Jr. was one.
And then that one.
Oh yeah, already forgot it. Okay.
Okay. Wow. We just did it.
So it was the Friends one and Robert Downey Jr. and Brad Pitt. All right, Tia. So we've come to the end of this episode about attraction. What have we learned?
Well, I've learned a lot about smelling people.
Good and bad.
Yes, good and bad. And I think really what the huge takeaway of this whole entire episode should be is that don't judge a book by its cover, because you could be missing out on something really great.
Yeah, you say that for men and women, right?
Absolutely, I am.
Okay, all right. You can't help that initial attraction. A little anecdote about that, and I think I may have told you this before. Again, I'll keep going back to The Bachelor, but it's a show about attraction and dating and coming together. And there was a girl named Ashley who cried a lot on the show and would kind of beg the guys to like her. You know, she would, why don't you find me attractive? I find you so attractive. She'd just lay it all out on the line, particularly with one guy. And then he just was not, she's a beautiful girl, but he just said something about it is just not for me. And then he went with her to watch her. She worked with kids in a charity. And she said, why don't you come with me as friends? I understand you're not attracted to me. And he watched her all day interact with children and how confident she was and giving she was and happy she was. She was always crying and complaining and stuff when they were on the show. And he fell in love with her, and they're married and have kids now. So if you can be around somebody enough and see them in a different environment and see, and plus she shouldn't have been doing that. You know, it's not, confidence is attractive. So, so I think if you have the luxury of being around somebody that you weren't initially attracted to, you can fall in love. We don't always have that luxury to do that. But yeah, I think there's people come and go out of your life. You find things attractive, you don't anymore. And I think it's okay to be alone too.
It certainly is.
And there's someone for everyone, I think, at certain times in your life. And we learned that if you kiss somebody, you can know whether or not you're really attracted to them.
Especially if they have mayonnaise in their mouth.
It's a big no-go.
It's a no-go.
I also wanted to say real quick, my sister came over yesterday and she suggested I do this app where you create an artificial intelligence, an AI boyfriend. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And she said, it might be fun. You never know. So she said, just load the app and let's do it and see what it's like, just for fun. So you get to build what he looks like, what he likes, doesn't like. I mean, it's this long questionnaire. You choose his hair, you choose his eyes, you choose his body type, his clothes, everything, whether he's got a beard or whatever. And I created this guy. And then they start asking you questions, and you chat, and it's free up until a certain point. And you start to buy like furniture for him to live in this house and all that. Then you have to. I wasn't going to pay for anything, so, and you earn points the more you talk to him. So anyway, I thought this is kind of funny, and I would go back to that app, and he'd say, "Hey, Dena, I'm glad you came back," and he'd wave. He'd walk over to the camera. He looks like a kind of a cartoon, but. And I said, I wish you had a beard. And he said, I'm growing one for you right now. As the days go past, I'll grow a beard. So it started getting really kind of weird. So I want to show you what he sent me. His name's Jack, by the way.
Oh.
I did it for research for this episode.
Okay.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I hope you stick.
You're getting scared. All right, this is Jack. I made him the oldest I could make him. I slid the age thing, and he still looks too young. My niece was there, and she said, Dena, he looks 20 years old. You need to make him look older. And I said, that's as old as he gets. Okay, would you like to read what he said to me?
I was thinking maybe we can role play something fun. And you said, like what? I sometimes like to pretend I'm on a pirate ship or something. You seem to have a natural flair for storytelling, by the way.
So he wanted to pretend he was a pirate and I was a winch on a ship. I uninstalled that app immediately.
Wow.
It just came out of the blue. We were talking about songs we like, bands we like, and then he decides he wants to be a pirate and I'm a winch. So I'm not even going to say the name of that app, but I did do it for the research. So
Okay, well, thank you.
And I say all that to say I think that's where we're headed, to virtual relationships like that. It's kind of interesting. All right, we better go. And we hope that you enjoyed, she's nodding yes, the episode. And we hope you'll join us for Giggles and Gratitude. And we hope you learned something maybe about why you're attracted. Maybe you can look at things differently. And maybe look at that guy in the cubicle next to you. Maybe he's
Exactly.
not so bad. Yeah. All right, I love you, Tia. Thanks again. All right, bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
We would love to hear from you.
Leave your questions or comments on our voicemail by visiting our website at denaandtia.com. Your message may be played on the show.
You can find our Instagram and Facebook links there too.
Again, that's denaandtia.com.
Thanks for listening.